Hi, I'm Mike Burrows, and in this short video I'm going to take you backwards through my new book, Wholehearted. Backwards meaning part 2 before part 1. We'll start at chapter 6 and work our way through to chapter 1, and then we'll retrace our steps going forward through the book at the end. So chapter 6, What Lies Beneath. This is about making coherent progress on a broad front, meeting our challenges well. I'm going to stress that, meeting our challenges well. We're not looking at rolling out monolithic solutions to challenges that are anything but. We are looking to meet our challenges well, moving the action to the edges of the organisation, solutions emerging from the people closest to the problem. If we're talking about mobilising the organisation, we need to understand how our networks work, how our different scopes of organisation work, what attributes they need. How do we make the organisation more adaptive structurally? And if we're doing things at scale, we need to understand how scale really works. And this is where the process frameworks, process-based approaches more generally, this is where they tend to break down. They don't help you half as much as they claim. So let's understand the relationships between things at different levels of scale. Let's untangle the strands. Let's identify the common dysfunctions that arise in those strands, and so on. So that was part 2 of the book. And part 1, which part 2 is built on, that's really developing the heart of the model, the deliberately adaptive organisation. Then it's a model in 3 overlapping spaces with some structure shared between them. So chapter 3, mutual trust building, we're looking at minimizing the failures of context that happen between strategy and delivery. Too many strategy related decisions are made that are lacking operational context. Too much operational decision making is made lacking in strategic context. And when you don't have the context you need to make good decisions, you're going to make some bad decisions, and those are expensive. Chapter 2, adaptive strategizing, that's about keeping us in the game when the game may be changing, making sure that we always have options. Run out of options and it's game over. Chapter 1 is where the liberation of the organization's adaptive capacity begins. That's in the work of the organization, the work of delivering, discovering, renewing. That's where that liberation begins. That's great news. It begins right from chapter 1. So the question now is where that detail comes from. And it comes from a classic model, Stafford Beer's viable system model. It comes from the 1970s. It has a great reputation, but also a reputation of being perhaps a little bit intimidating. And we've worked really hard to make it engaging and bring it up to the 21st century, making it complexity aware and showing how it applies to the digital age organisation. Not just technology organisations, but organisations that understand that they need to keep pace with changing customer needs in a world that's changing very, very quickly. So going forwards now to chapter 1, those systems now have names, the value creating work, coordinating and organising, adaptive strategizing, we've added strategizing and self-governing. And in chapter 3, we add contextualizing, making sure we have the context we need for decision making. With that model, that 3-space model, 6-system model, we can now see where these strands in the relationships come from. We can see what our networks need, what our scopes need, if we're going to be adaptive structurally, if we're not going to waste the experience when groups disband, that enough of those lessons learned meetings, but instead making sure that learning is built into the process as a whole. And so to the final chapter, we're looking at, well, what are the challenges of the organisation? What is it about the organisation that's true, but we know ought not to be true? Let's map those. Let's different people, let different groups engage with different of those things. And that's what gives us our coherent progress on that broad front, the action move to the edges so that we are meeting our challenges well. So that's the book, Wholehearted. If you go to Amazon, search Wholehearted Mike Burrows, you'll find the book. It's available certainly in the ebook edition in other places too. But I'm going to stress Amazon because that's where the 5-star reviews are. So read those and, of course, add your own as well. There is also some Wholehearted relating training, and we've got a full program set up for the last part of 2025 in 2 forms. One called Leading in the Knowledge Economy, and also in self-paced form, Adaptive Organisation. That's part of our Leading with Outcomes curriculum. So in cohort-based online form, that's 2-hour sessions once a week for 8 sessions beginning September the 30th. That's online, of course. And in person, I'm doing it in Copenhagen in November and in Bangalore in December. I would love to see you at any of those. But I'll leave you with the book. Search Amazon, Wholehearted, Mike Burrows.